In 1960, you could fish here. Today, the boats sit on sand more than 60 miles away from the water. The Aral Sea has dried up, and it wasn't an accident. Summer 2026 is likely to bring 10 to 12 massive toxic dust storms from the Aralkum, potentially the worst storm season ever recorded, and it might affect millions of people living in the region. The Aral Sea used to be the fourth largest lake on Earth. Today, most of it is just gone. The Aral Sea sits between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, and despite its name, it was actually a giant lake with no connection to the ocean. Two big rivers, the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya, had been feeding it for many thousands of years. Until the 1960s, when people started taking large amounts of river water to grow crops in the desert, especially cotton. Massive canals redirected the rivers, and all that water didn't have time to reach the lake. The Aral Sea started shrinking fast. The less water reached the lake, the farther the shoreline moved away. Fishing towns ended up miles from the water, and boats were stranded in dry sand. In about 60 years, the Aral Sea lost about 90% of its original size. But that wasn't even the main problem. The exposed lakebed turned into a new desert called the Aralkum Desert. These days, it covers about 24,000 square miles. That's roughly the size of West Virginia. Winds sweep across the dry ground and pick up dust and sand. Those dust storms carry salt, chemicals, and polluted dirt into nearby towns and farms. Air quality got worse, crops stopped growing, and people started dealing with serious health problems. Now people are trying to slow down this disaster. One idea is to plant black saxaul shrubs across the dry lakebed. Those desert plants help hold the soil in place so the wind can't carry it away as easily. Sadly, it won't bring the Aral Sea back. But it may stop the region from getting even worse. New satellite images from the European Space Agency show how extreme the damage has become. Right in the middle of the landscape, there's a giant empty space where the lake used to be. Images from March 2025 reveal that the western side of the lake has shrunk a lot, and the eastern side has disappeared almost completely. Just one small part of the lake is still trying to survive. It's the small Aral Sea in Kazakhstan. In winter, parts of it even freeze over, and while the southern section might disappear soon, the small Aral can still be saved. One of the biggest projects is the Kokarel Dam. In satellite images, it looks like two long brown lines near the southeastern edge of the small Aral Sea. The dam was finished in 2005, and its job is simple: to stop water from flowing south and keep it in the northern section. Surprisingly, this plan worked better than anyone expected. Since they finished the dam, water levels in the Aral Sea have risen by about 13 feet. Salinity dropped too. The fish populations started recovering. A few fishing communities have come back to life. It's still far from the massive lake it used to be. The Aral Sea disaster is one of the worst environmental catastrophes on Earth. South of the lake, the historical Khwarazm region suffered a lot. It used to be a thriving region with farms, wetlands, rivers, forests, and fishing communities. Now, large parts of it look almost post-apocalyptic. When toxic dust reached towns and farms and contaminated drinking water supplies, the region fell into crisis. Many farms were destroyed because crops couldn't grow in poisoned soil. Tens of thousands of people lost their main source of income. Clean drinking water became hard to find, and diseases started spreading more often, especially respiratory illnesses and anemia. Lakes dried out, marshes disappeared, and rivers shrank. Forests turned into dry wasteland, and it happened very fast. In just a few decades, we managed to almost wipe out one of the world's largest lakes and completely ruin the climate. It